Hi, this is Dr. Rodger Murphree, YourFibroDoctor.com, author of Treating and Beating Fibromyalgia and Chronic Fatigue Syndrome. I'd like to share some information with you today I hope you'll find helpful in your quest to feel good again. One of the most frustrating things that my patients with fibromyalgia encounter is this thing called brain fog. And for those of you who have experienced brain fog, you know how frustrating it is. It can be quite embarrassing to forget what you're talking about in mid-sentence. Actually, I've had patients that have come to the clinic and they've had their spouse in the room and they literally have, forget the name of their spouse. And for those of you that experience this, it's really not a funny situation, but sometimes you have to laugh at yourself. But it can be very, very frustrating. And so I want to share some tips with you today that I think are going to be helpful for you in your goal to increase your mental clarity. And for those of you who've not heard me speak before, maybe this is the first time you've seen me here live on Facebook or seen any of my material, a little bit about me. I'm a board-certified chiropractic physician, board-certified nutritional specialist. I've been in private practice for 26 years and I've specialized in fibromyalgia for the last 20 years. My book, Treating and Beating Fibromyalgia and Chronic Fatigue Syndrome, is now in its 5th edition. The first edition came out in 2003. The book is available at most bookstores as well as Amazon.com. And my practice has evolved over the years to where 99% of my practice I work with patients by phone or by Skype. I work with patients all over the world at this point. I use high doses, but the right doses and combinations of proven supplements. So high doses and the right combinations of vitamins, minerals, amino acids, essential fatty acids that actually create the building blocks that we need to be able to think clearly, that we need to be able to reduce our pain, to get a good night's sleep, to get rid of restless leg syndrome, to get rid of irritable bowel syndrome. Unfortunately, traditional medicine, drug therapy alone is a dead end for fibromyalgia. Most of you have come to that same conclusion. For a number of years, I owned a very large integrated medical practice here in Birmingham, Alabama, on the campus of Brook Hospital. In 2003, I sold that practice, and partly because I became very frustrated with the whole idea of trying to help patients get on the right drugs to help them with fibromyalgia. You can't drug your way out of fibromyalgia. The whole idea of learning to live with it is inflammatory. I think that's, you go to Mayo or you go to, some of these prestigious research centers and you get a workup, they tell you have fibromyalgia, and then they tell you that you have to learn to live with it. No one wants to live with this stuff. So my mission in life is to use, to share the protocols that I've been using the last 20 years that have allowed me to help thousands of patients feel good again, more importantly to get healthy and stay feeling good again, and do so naturally, because really that's the only way that works. But today what I want to share with you is a little bit about fibro fog. So many of you, the biggest challenge you have with your fibro fog is being creative because you don't get a good night's sleep. And so many of you are holding up your hand saying amen to that. I hadn't slept well in 20 years. And really that's the first key. If you don't get that right, you're never going to feel good again, because if you're not getting deep delta wave restorative sleep on a consistent basis, you're going to see that your inflammatory chemicals will go up by 40%. So you're going to have more pain. You're going to find that you are going to deplete your serotonin levels, one of your stress coping hormones. And so when your serotonin level goes low, your pain threshold goes low, pain becomes more magnified. And that explains why over the years you see that your pain becomes worse. So maybe in the beginning you get tight, aching pain in your neck and your shoulders, maybe your mid-back, and then before you know it, it's everywhere. And so one of the keys is you got to increase the serotonin level, because the higher your serotonin level, the deeper sleep you're going to get into. The higher serotonin level, the less pain you have. The higher your serotonin level, the more mental clarity, more alert you are. The higher your serotonin level, the less likely you are to have irritable bowel syndrome. You have more serotonin receptors in your intestinal tract than you do in your brain. So when you get low in serotonin, you see that you start having irritable bowel flares. But by boosting your serotonin levels, what you should see is it should help you with your sleep. Now, many of you are taking medications to help with your low serotonin levels. So you're taking antidepressants, whether that's Celexa, Lexapro, Savella, Cymbalta, Effexor, Prestige, whatever it is, there'll be a new one out next month, I'm sure. But the problem with those medications is those are gasoline additives. They don't make gasoline, okay? They only help you hang on to the gasoline that you have in your tank. So they're a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. They're supposed to help you reuptake and use serotonin. The problem is if you don't have any serotonin to reuptake, it's not going to do anything. If you don't have any gasoline in the tank and you're running on fumes, which you are, because you've depleted your serotonin levels because you've gotten under so much stress over the years, you don't sleep, and because of that, you don't have any serotonin to hang on to. So these medications really don't do anything after a period of time. They quit working. They don't make serotonin. Their only job is to help you hang on to serotonin. But if you don't have any serotonin anyway, what good are they going to do? So many of you have experienced this. You've taken the medications and maybe they were helpful for the first 6 months or 12 months and then they quit working. The problem with the antidepressants is they all have potential side effects. Now, I'm not telling you to stop any of your medications. You would only do that if you're working with me in a program, whether that's a one-on-one program or working with me. I can help you in a group coaching program. You can learn more about the group coaching program by clicking on the link here that's in this video. But you don't want to stop your medications. But you do need to realize many of your medications are creating your fibromyalgia symptoms, including brain fog. So the antidepressants can give you trouble with mental clarity issues. They can also deplete your natural sleep hormone melatonin, so you're not getting into deep restorative sleep, and therefore you're waking up every day with mental clarity issues, as well as pain, irritable bowel, restless leg syndrome, many things that go with poor sleep. Many of you may be taking sleep medications like Ambien, Lunesta, or one of the tricyclic antidepressants like Trazodone, Elavil, Pamelor, Doxepin, or maybe you're taking a benzodiazepine like Klonopin, Restoril, Seroquel, one of these kind of medications. The problem with those medications is they all have been shown to increase your risk of death by all sources, whether that's from cancer, heart attack, stroke, whatever it is, by 500-fold. Not to scare you, I'm just sharing with you, the truth of the matter, telling you the way it is. The research shows that taking those medications increase your risk of death. And obviously, if you didn't have to take them, you wouldn't take them. But you got to sleep, right? But many of you don't know you have natural options, or maybe you've tried some natural options like taking 5-HTP or melatonin or Verlium root or kava kava or chamomile or whatever it is. You've taken those things and it didn't work. The key is the right combination of the right supplements that will work for you. And everybody's different. God made us as different on the inside as on the outside. We really are. We are very different on the inside. We have things that are in common that we share, but we are very different. So we react different to whether that's to drugs or to over-the-counter supplements. The medications that many of you are taking are creating problems with mental clarity. Lyrica and Neurontin, one of the side effects of that is problems with memory, mental clarity issues. Ambien, as I mentioned earlier, Lunesta, the tricyclic antidepressants, the benzodiazepines, all create a problem with memory, short-term memory as well as long-term memory. We're finding out that some of these medications may even predispose you to developing or be at risk for Alzheimer's disease. We're not sure about that, but it certainly should give you pause for thought. Is this something that I need to be doing? But the first key, the thing that really would help you with brain fog, is getting deep restorative sleep. And I go into much more detail about how to use the natural protocols of 5-HT, melatonin, and some of these other things that I use with my patients. And you can learn more about that there. The other thing that I really want to encourage you to do is to look at all the medications that you're on. Get them all out. And I would encourage you to go on WebMD or go to mayo.org or wherever and to look up what are the potential side effects of the medications that you're taking, whether it's the antidepressants or it's the anticonvulsing medications. It could be Topamax, could be Abilify, whatever it is that some of you are taking. And you need to be aware that those medications oftentimes are contributing to the symptoms that you're experiencing that many people are writing off or telling you it's all due to your fibromyalgia. Many of you are taking medications that are creating more pain. The antidepressants that many of you are taking, one of the potential side effects is diffuse achy muscle pain. Another potential side effect, ironically, is anxiety and depression. I already mentioned that it can interfere with your sleep. Non-steroidal anti-inflammatories reduce your melatonin levels, your sleep hormone levels, so that can create problems with your sleep. Pain medications, birth control medications, hormone replacement therapy, these medications can deplete melatonin as well as cofactors needed to make the happy hormone serotonin. Once you know about these things, now you're in a position to at least investigate with your doctor switching to something else, or even better, perhaps working with me or another doctor who can help you get on natural protocols so you're not taking these potentially dangerous medications. One of the things, another thing that's very, very important that you need to do is you need to you need to balance your neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters are brain chemicals, and they control how well we think, how we sleep. They control our ability to have drive, ambition, zip, mental energy, physical energy. They can help reduce pain. So they're very, very important. And the calming neurotransmitters are serotonin and gamma aminobutyric acid. Now, as I mentioned, many people are taking medications to try to help increase these hormones, but the medications don't make the hormones. They only help you use what you have available. But after years and years of poor sleep, sedentary lifestyle, maybe not eating as healthy as you should, getting really run down both mentally and physically, you find that you don't have these chemicals available. So you're at a very you're at a disadvantage because of this. And so the goal really is to use the building blocks that make serotonin. And where does serotonin, this brain chemical, come from? Well, it doesn't come from Eli Lilly. No one's got a Prozac deficiency. No one has a drug deficiency. Drugs are designed to turn things on and turn things off, and it's basically what they do. But by doing those processes, when it's turning something on, one thing on, it's also interfering with other processes that need to be going on in the body that are needed, that are essential, and that's where you start to develop some side effects. If you're taking a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor like Lexapro, again, that medication doesn't make serotonin. Serotonin comes from amino acid called tryptophan, which then turns into 5-hydroxytryptophan. That plus B vitamins, B1, B2, B3, B6, magnesium and vitamin C, you need those cofactors. That combination is what makes serotonin. And you should be getting that in your diet. Unfortunately, many of you have gotten so run down over the years, you can't get enough in your diet. You just can't do it by eating healthy, even if you're trying to eat healthy, which I certainly encourage you to do. Some of you have a biochemical glitch, just the way that God made you, and because of that, you have a glitch in the kynurenine pathway, so you don't have an enzyme that converts tryptophan that you'd be getting from proteins that you eat, hamburger patty, dairy, turkey, whatever protein source you're ingesting, that has going to have tryptophan in that, and then that should turn into 5-hydroxytryptophan. Unfortunately, some people can't make that conversion, so you get depleted in tryptophan, and then you get depleted in serotonin, and that creates the anxiety, the depression, the poor sleep, and the increased pain because of low pain threshold. But you can, instead of using a gasoline additive, you can take 5-hydroxytryptophan plus the B vitamins and magnesium. You can get that over the counter, and by doing that right away, you start filling up your brain with serotonin, and you can do it without all the potential side effects that you see by taking these potentially dangerous, prescription medications. Some of you have a lot of anxiety, and it's hard to get through the day, and part of that is you're just so run down, and you've gotten to the point that stress is really magnified. Changes in the weather, the thought of going out and meeting friends. I mean, many of you have kind of given up on that, or your friends have given up on you, unfortunately, because you've had to cancel on them so many times. But this anxiety, this overwhelming anxiety, is because you can't handle the stimulation, and that is because you're deficient probably in serotonin, which is very common, but also gamma aminobutyric acid, which is another very calming neurotransmitter. Some of you are taking Klonopin, Ativan, Xanax, Valium to help you get through the day. The problem with those medications, as I mentioned earlier, they can cause mental clarity issues, they can cause you to feel depressed, cause you feel definitely have become lethargic, and many other symptoms associated or side effects associated with these medications. There's over-the-counter natural things like L-theanine, which is another amino acid that's all natural, and it's very calming, very relaxing. It won't make you feel dopey or tired when you take it. You can take it during the day, and it will calm you down, and it works in about 30 minutes, works very, very quickly. There's other things like GABA, regular GABA, taurine, glycine, some things that you can take over the counter that I talk about in my lectures, in my book, and then working with my patients, help them to calm everything down, get everything balanced. You can learn more about that in the book. I want to encourage you, if this is something that interests you and you would like to have a coach that can help you get to living again, not learning to live with this. Nobody wants to learn to live in pain and to have a low energy and to give up, your life, not be able to do things that you want to do. No one wants that. What I want to encourage you to do is learn how to overcome the pain, the poor sleep, the low energy, the IBS, this restless leg syndrome. And that's what I do when I coach my patients in my coaching program. And you can learn more about that, how to sign up for that. The next Fibro coaching program, group coaching program, is starting in the next week. And I want to encourage you to be a part of it. I'd love to help you feel good again. Look forward to some of you joining me next Tuesday night, 6 p.m. I'll be doing a live presentation. And so I'll be answering some questions here next week. But I do encourage you to learn more about the coaching program. I'd love to be able to help you feel good again, get healthy, and stay that way. Thanks for joining me.